Hello, I'm Kurt Becker. Thanks for joining me as I take another stroll through racing history presented by Keeneland. She began her career as a 50-1 long shot, but later became a Grade 1 winner and a broodmare of global influence. Her name was November Snow. Foaled on May 18, 1989 in Kentucky, November Snow was a bay filly by Stormcat out of Princess Alydar by Alydar. Bred by Overbrook Farm and DJ Stable, she brought just $35,000 at the Keeneland September yearling sale and failed to meet her reserve price at a Florida sale when re-offered as a 2-year-old. Being a daughter of Stormcat, one of the most commercially successful sires in American history, it might come as a surprise that November Snow did not command more respect in the auction ring. But she was from Stormcat's first crop, and he stood at the time for a fee of $30,000, a far cry from the $500,000 he would command a decade later. Competing for Silverbrook Stable and trainer Laurie Silvera, November Snow began her racing career as a juvenile on June 8, 1991 at Woodbine Racetrack in Toronto. After finishing third in a maiden special weight, she returned 1 week later and pulled a 54-1 shocker in winning the My Deer Stakes in her second career start. Purchased soon thereafter by Earl Mack, November Snow was given the rest of the summer off before shipping to Florida and the barn of trainer Larry Jennings. She returned to the races in December at Hialeah Park and posted back-to-back wins, including a victory in the Poinsettia Stakes on Christmas Day as the 6-5 favorite. With her days as a scorned long shot now in the rearview mirror, November Snow spent the remainder of the winter and the spring in Florida. She added a win and 2 runner-up finishes from 4 starts, with the victory coming in the form of a 10-length romp in the Boca Raton Stakes at Calder Racecourse at 1 1/16. Regrettably, Jennings was in declining health and would pass away early that summer in New York. But November Snow would land in the barn of Hall of Fame trainer Alan Jerkins, and she would return to the races with a 3rd-place finish at Belmont Park as the odds-on favorite on July 11th. While not the ideal result, Jerkins had confidence in the filly and took her to Saratoga for what is traditionally one of the most challenging race meets in North America. And Jerkins wasted little time in throwing her into the deep end of the pool, entering her for the Grade 1 test stakes at 7 furlongs. The lineup that day would include Grade 1 winner Preach from powerful Claiborne Farm and dual graded stakes winner American Royale. But with jockey Chris Antley aboard, November Snow broke from the outside post and rallied from last at odds of 9-2 to notch her first win at the Grade 1 level. In a move which surprised many onlookers, Jerkins entered November Snow in the Grade 1 Alabama Stakes at Saratoga just 2 weeks later. The distance would be 1.25 miles, which seemed rather ambitious for a filly which had never been beyond 1 1/16. Adding to the storyline was the fact Jerkins, despite having been a Hall of Famer for 17 years, had never had so much as a starter in the Alabama. Rain had left the track a sloppy mess, and Mack was famous for refusing to run his horses in such conditions. And through a series of events, Craig Perrette had landed the mount on November Snow, leaving Antley without a ride. But on race day, the track conditions changed from sloppy to muddy by the middle of the card, and Earl Mack gave his consent for November Snow to run. And he paid a double jockey fee to get Perrette to agree to relinquish the mount to Antley. November Snow and her connections had overcome a lot just to reach the starting gate that afternoon. And as the field turned for home, a stubborn filly named Saratoga Dew was the only obstacle remaining. Tom Durkin gives us the call.
Herb McCauley's trying to go wire to wire in the Alabama, and he turns for home with a 3-length lead. November Snow is trying to come to him from the inside now as the field is set down for the drive. Vivano on the outside is weakening in 3rd. Pacific Squall laboring as the field comes to mid-stretch. Here comes November Snow as Saratoga Dew digs deep. Saratoga Dew desperately trying to hold. November Snow surging on the outside. Here comes November Snow, Saratoga Dew. Those two battle it down for the wire, and November Snow wins by a desperate nose.
November Snow prevailed that day by the slimmest of margins, raising her status to that of a dual Grade 1 winner. She would continue racing through the end of the following year, when she would retire with earnings of $500,000, and she would later command a price of $1.75 million in the Keeneland sales ring. November Snow would eventually become the Grand Dam of Carter Handicap winner Morning Line and this year's Santa Anita Handicap winner Express Train, as well as the Great Grand Dam of Epsom Derby winner Anthony Van Dyke. When asked for his thoughts on November Snow, Jerkins once said, quote, "She was one of those gutsy horses that even if you made a mistake, she still ran good," end quote. We remember November Snow, who rose to prominence 30 years ago as a Grade 1 winner at the Spa. Please join me again next week when I take another stroll through racing history presented by Keeneland. For HRRN, I'm Kurt Becker.